Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Android App Addicts podcast, where we talk about Android apps, Android phones, Raspberry Pis, all sorts of stuff. I'm your host, Mark, and I'm happy to be here with you once again. I'm glad you chose once again to download and listen to this podcast. If you're not listening to it, I'm not glad. Otherwise, I'm glad. That was convoluted. That's enough of my babbling. Let me introduce the people you're really here to hear from. Mr. Door-to-Door Geek, Steve McLaughlin, and Eric, the manager, the executive, the boss man, Ardini. Hey, gentlemen.
I'm the tire repairman today.
Oh, nice.
I had to take a tire off the tractor today and get a new tube put in it because I have to get the tire back on also today with chains. So I'm ready for tomorrow, which will be our first major snowstorm of the year. Yay.
Not even Thanksgiving yet.
Right.
What is wrong with your world, Eric?
It is bad. I'm not happy or proud of this world.
Well, he might be, that I'm just tired. I volunteered. I volunteered. I have more responsibility now at 9 to 5 after 20 years of heavily mitigating responsibility, if you will.
Responsibility mitigation specialist.
Work? Is that what we're saying?
No, not work, but responsibility. I would do all the work in the world, but as soon as I was done my work, now I know the correct term is I would open source it. I would take everything I did and immediately document everything I could and give it to everyone else, so it's not my responsibility now, because everyone knows it. I'm not the only one. But now I took on more responsibility, and it is quite tiresome. I literally came home 3 out of the last 5 nights, came home, ate dinner, went to bed, because I'm just mentally gone. Just...
and people who work for a living don't understand that's really hard work. You can be exhausted without ever leaving your chair.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Well, no, I mean, that's one of the things that drives me nuts is I get into work, I sit in my chair for maybe 3 minutes, and then most of the time I go 4 to 6 hours before I sit in my chair again, because I'm running to a meeting, then I'm running and talking to a developer, then I'm running and talking to a database guy, then I'm going to another meeting, then I'm talking to a server admin, then I'm talking to a PC technician, then I'm going to another meeting, then I'm talking to an executive, then I'm talking to a project manager, then I'm going to another meeting, and it's non-stop getting stuff done, I'll say.
Now, do you have to write reports on all these meetings on what you did or what got done or what's going to happen or anything like that?
Eric, the only thing I do worse than reading is writing, and I don't read nothing.
So you don't have to make sure you put a cover on your TPS report or anything?
No, but
did you get that memo, Eric?
Yeah, I do have to do some sort of monthly reports now, but I got to get the guy to understand there is no such thing as a front burner issue with me ever, because if it was a front burner issue, it would already be done. Anything. I don't care what you bring up to me. It will be done in well under a month, probably under 2 weeks, more than likely under a week. And for all honesty, 3 hours. It's going to be done. So there's never any outstanding issues, and he just can't comprehend that. No.
I can't say the same. Sometimes I have things that take months to complete, and it's like, okay, I can spend 8 hours today working on this and I won't get it finished, or I can do these 26 other things in that same 8 hours, and then those things end up just sitting. So I definitely have front burner, back burner.
Most of my day I'm writing. Most of every day.
I question your sanity.
So I inadvertently, accidentally, involuntarily upgraded my Moto 360 today.
Okay.
Yeah, upgraded.
You make it sound like it was bad.
Well, it was, because the way I upgraded it was by smashing the class on my other one.
Oh.
My wife bought it for me Christmas last year. So she bought it early December. But she bought the no questions asked, if your kid flushes it down the toilet, we'll replace it, Best Buy warranty. So I was just walking through our office building is going through some construction right now, and so things are not where they used to be. And I was just walking along, minding my own business, and whacked my wrist up against a temporary wall. And something that happens is, if you're a big guy, that you're often too big for the space around you, and just shattered the crystal, the Gorilla Glass, on the Moto 360. And it was heart wrenching. I mean, it was like the worst thing that had happened to me that in a long time. Not the worst thing in my life, definitely, but that heart sinking feeling that you get when you crack your phone. But it was even worse because the watch is an even more personal device, at least in my experience. So I came home, I limped through work. I came home and I found all the original packaging and receipt. And I went today on my lunch break, went to the local Best Buy, and they did not have the Gen 1 in stock.
Right.
So I could have waited or found another store that had the Gen 1, but those things they're going out. In fact, the Gen 1 is now the way the things work, if you've never done it, is you apply the warranty and you essentially get the full credit of your original purchase price back on the cost of the new one. So they've dropped in price by $100. I actually would have gotten money back had I gotten the Gen 1, but I'm impatient and whatever. So, and it was just a good excuse. So Merry Christmas to me. I bought the Gen 2, which is $100 more. So essentially I got a Moto 360 Gen 2 for $100.
Oh, that new one runs Gen 2? That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Generation 2. And so I just thought I'd mention that.
Is it slimmer?
It's very slightly slimmer. They look almost identical. My old one had the steel connectors on it, so I could put a regular band on it. The Gen 2 essentially has the built-in steel connect. They put arms on the watch. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I bought an adapter on the old one that would do that, because the Watchman would go inside it, but this has a built-in arm there. So this is an unmodified watch band, which is another benefit. The way the other ones were, you had to find there was a very narrow opening that it could go in, and the steel connect fixed that.
I gotta say that to me looks very good compared to what I thought what you would hold up a smartwatch would look like.
Yeah, that's the reason I like the Moto 360. It is the most beautiful smartwatch, bar none. Well, actually, that's not true anymore. The Urbane from LG and the Huawei watch are both as beautiful, if not more so. But last year when I bought this, all the others were just ugly blocks, including, I might add, the Apple iWatch is an ugly block. So the only difference is they moved the button on the side from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and the arms on the side. Otherwise, it's running fine. But they say, I can't know it because I got it at the middle of the day, but they say that this will do a full day with the screen on all the time and still have battery to go, which the 360, the first generation 360, could not do at all. So we'll see.
So you didn't have I've never had a battery issue with the LG, but I have it where it doesn't stay on. It kind of goes into a sleep-ish
right.
state.
So yeah, that's what most watches do. They have a dim mode, right, where it's like black and white and dimmer pixels. The 360, their first gen 360, because of the battery issues, went off. Not be on all the time. And ambient mode off, I would get 15 hours, which gets me through most days. Ambient mode on, you're down to 7-8 hours. This one, they say that with the screen full on, going into dim mode, you'll still get 20 hours out of it. So
does that watch have a charger base that you set it on, or is it just a straight USB plug right into the side or something?
No, it's Qi charging. So it comes with its own cradle, but it also works on any of your other Qi pucks that you've got laying around.
That's one thing I do like about the LG. It's got a fast charge base that it sets on, and it's got pins on the base, and they touch pads on the watch, and it'll charge to full. Like I don't know, it takes maybe 45 minutes to go to full charge.
That's about my experience with the Qi charging. It'll go from dead to full in less than an hour.
All right.
And with the old one, if I used it a lot, if I was of course, I track my steps on it, so the gyro is always going. And if I used it a lot, sometimes I'd find myself needing to charge toward the end of the day, much like I do with my phone. And so I kept a Qi puck in my car and at my desk, and so you just lay it on there for 20 minutes, and that'll get you another 3-4 hours out of it. So this one, I'm hoping that won't be a problem.
Yeah, I bet it won't. I bet it'll be just fine. Other than the 2 o'clock, I mean, did you ever have an issue running accidentally your wrist into the 3 o'clock position of the button on the old one?
Yes. And I think that's actually why they moved it, because it's much less likely to get caught by moving your hand. Okay. But every watch since the beginning of wristwatches has had the fob at the 3 o'clock position. The Urbane, I think, moved it, no, it's the Huawei's. They moved it, and then now the second generation Moto 360. So I guess as long as we're improving, we might as well move that too.
Yeah, I mean, the buttons didn't really do as much back in the day, though.
Right.
Well, back in the day, typically you had to pull the button out,
right,
and turn it for it to do something.
Yeah, I don't have any buttons on the side of mine. And people still ask me if it's an iWatch, but like, no, this is
on the iWatch, the Apple Watch. It's not the iWatch. The fob is up at the top, 2 o'clock-ish position too. So I guess they innovated on that one. They were the first one to ever do that a year and a half after other people did
it. I'm surprised they didn't come out with the round one just in time for Christmas yet, but.
Yeah, they don't seem to be interested in updating that device. Instead, they want a giant iPad with a electronic pencil.
I'm sorry, I still believe that's just for people with really bad eyesight.
All right, that's enough Apple talk. Ooh, that just doesn't belong on this show. Let's start with an app. Door, kick us off.
Take a shower.
Right. Okay. Well, if you want to be happy, and I have no choice, this is an app that has to be brought. This is the legitimate, by the real people, quote unquote, Reading Rainbow application. Reading Rainbow Skybrary. Now, if you've not heard of Reading Rainbow,
you're not the right age.
No, you must have grew up in Pakistan, because it's been on the air literally for 40 years. It seems like on PBS.
The three of us could do a barbershop of the theme song if you really did this.
I am aware of it. Never seen it. Not one episode.
Oh,
I saw it and quickly turned it off as a child because it had the word reading in the title. But
I could recite every word of the theme song. That's how much I watched it, even at 42 years old.
Well, I'll say it has LeVar Burton in it, aka Geordie LaForge, so it has to be good. But here's the gist of it.
Also,
right, exactly. Kunta Kinte from Classic Roots. He took it upon himself, I believe. I'm going to believe myself. I don't care. To start a Kickstarter to basically buy the rights, buy every piece of content of Reading Rainbow back, to where now it's basically in the public domain. Anybody who wants anything Reading Rainbow, it's available, boom, for you. And that's what this app is. Basically, it's an app that has the classic stuff in it, but it's also trying to engage younger people to do reading today. There is this guy and this application could tell me to pray towards a deity, and I think I might do it. I'll just say that.
That's more long-time content providers should do that. Who lost their show for whatever reason on whatever network that went under or stuff like that. It's good nostalgic stuff that just goes away.
And to me, it's one of those things where it literally only had the best of intentions with its original creation, and from everything I can tell today, it still has nothing but good intentions, just trying to entertain children and encouraging them to read. So
I
I'm
bet
a
Sean Johnson would like this.
I don't know. He likes Star Wars, not Star Trek. So
No, it's retro TV though, kind of.
I know, but he would say, he only knows.
Oh no.
He would say he only knows running and frozen peas. I know, Door. That's okay. I got a different app though. So I told you guys before that the show that I may be bringing one up from the attic, and I am. I've been typing on my keyboard lately, and I have been using the Samsung keyboard since, I don't know, for a long time. Just because the only reason I did is because I like having number keys at the top. I don't like to have to hit something to go to numbers. So I like to have the number. I think was it Steve Cherubino's dad who also liked having a row of numbers at the top of his keyboard too. Somebody did. Anyway, so I'm like, there's got to be another one out there by now. Fleksy plus GIF Keyboard is free. You can buy different packs for it as far as themes and stuff. But I went back to this one. I know I've used it a long time, and I think somehow I ended up with a Fleksy T-shirt at one point. And yeah, so I'm using it, and it's come a long way since I used it last. There's a lot of customization. You can when I first installed it, it took up a large part of my phone as a keyboard, but in the settings, you can quickly make it much smaller, down to like almost like like 1/5 of the bottom of your screen is all the keyboard would take up. It's a super tiny size for the whole keyboard. You can customize how big or small that is. You can put the number keys at the top if you'd like. You don't have to have them. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a try for a while. And if somebody's looking for a new keyboard and they're tired of their stock one, because I just frankly got tired of it misspelling everything. If I forgive me, I'm not a perfect typist on a 2-inch pad of glass, but it should be a little more forgiving and understand what I'm trying to do.
Okay, well, here's my question. How is okay, yes, we did bring this a long time ago. They did bring shirts on the show. This was when a lot of keyboards were trying to innovate kind of thing. And what they were doing was a super ridiculously clean keyboard. What I don't understand is how is this GIF plus? How is this a GIF keyboard? What the hell does that even mean?
Well, if you hit the GIF button, it's just you get all these GIFs like every other keyboard. Yeah, the GIF. Yeah, I'm assuming emojis. Let me look. Let me hold on a second. Let me see.
I don't know, because it looks like it does have a GIF searcher.
So while you're looking at that, I want to go back and mention Reading Rainbow. Not compatible with any of my devices except the Asus Transformer 101.
Well,
not compatible with the Moto X, not compatible with the Nexus 5, not compatible with the HTC Vivid, not compatible with the Asus Zenfone, not compatible with the LG tablets, not compatible with the knockoff Chinese tablets. Nothing.
Easy answer.
It's compatible with both of my Nexus 7s, but nothing else.
By lithium crystals. Let's say that. I'll say this: it's only compatible with my Jide, my Cube i6, one of the kids' laptops, actually the broken laptop, and my no carrier undefined device. I don't know what that is. But hey,
I love those. Those are neat.
Well, if you look, it only has 26 reviews. I'll say that.
Because nobody can run it.
No. App developers are purposefully limiting how many people can first install their app until they feel confident. And since the beta program in the Google Play market is literally broken, I did hear on another show, this is one way app developers can limit the number of installs, because the last thing they want is 1 million people to see this name, download this app, and have a bad experience. If that makes any sense.
All right. Back to the mystery of the GIF.
Okay, sorry.
Fleksy plus GIF. What's the GIF?
Still a mystery.
Okay.
Well, and I'll say this: I'm a fan of other keyboards. I have not played with this keyboard in a long time.
Yeah,
Um,
and what I did is I just basically did a Google search for a new Android keyboard, and nothing was new. And this one was fairly up there in that.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing it now. So the emojis that you can do memes, you can load GIF memes from your keyboard. Like, so if you type LOL, you can load up GIFs that go with LOL, and they're tagged. So you can see that in the pictures. You search and send thousands of GIFs.
See, this is dangerous for me because I am a fan of stupid GIFs. And it just so happens when I do have spare time and I'm browsing Reddit/GIFs and I'm holding a conversation with somebody in either Hangouts or Boxer, at the exact time they say something and I check it out, I just saw a GIF that represents exactly what my response should be to them.
Can I show you something I do like about this? It's called rainbow buttons. As you touch each letter, they light up. You know, like they get bigger or whatever, so you can tell which letter you just hit. But these ones change colors randomly.
I was gonna say it looks. Oh yeah, okay, there, change colors.
Yeah, that's good radio for you people listening on the audio version.
Yeah,
I will say it's pretty.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with it for a while, and I may bring another keyboard in the future if it doesn't work out.
I installed it on my OnePlus, so I'll play with it too because I have not had this installed for a long time.
All right, I'm going to step out of my hostly duties and I'm going to bring an app. One of my favorite puzzle casual games is the Flow game, where you connect up the dots and there's the flow bridges and whatever.
Mhm.
Well, I have literally done every map in every iteration of that. And so I was looking for something else. So I typed in Flow and came up with an app called Current Flow. It's a very simple concept. Let's see. I'll put the link in the chat room. The idea is that there are one or more light bulbs and one or more power sources, and you have to connect the circuit to get the light to the power sources. And it's a very the first 50 levels are free, and then you have to pay for them. And I found it to be the perfect waiting on my daughters at the mall app. You know, and you know, I finished all 50 levels in a day because of I have daughters. But
Wow.
some of the levels you have Wi-Fi, right? So it's Wi-tricity. You can you electrify one wireless signal and it sends power to the other wireless signal, so you can make the electricity jump. It's just a great little simple game, but that's not easy. So it's a game that is both simple and not easy, and I like that. One of the things I like about it is you can finish the puzzle with parts left over. So that's a red herring. You can't look at just say, oh, well, I've got to use all these parts and put them together this way. So Current Flow.
That's so weird.
Why is it weird?
Yeah. I have another app with almost the same name.
No, it's weird because you brought it because you brought this exact app on episode 377.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I made it to about level 6 and stopped because I couldn't get any farther. That's how I remember this game, and I was not good at it.
Well, yeah, I remember because you mentioned it, so I played it. This is, to me, one of those simply gorgeous games. There's not a lot to the game. It's simple in its play and its function, and how it progresses was actually at a fair rate. It wasn't crazy, but how it looked and how it made you feel when you solved the puzzle, I thought was excellent.
Yeah, I expected this was probably be a repeat because you guys have done every app in the store at this point, but it's something that I'm playing, and so I wanted to bring it.
How many apps are we up to about Door? Do you have any idea?
Yes.
Speaking of big numbers, and
we're over 3,750.
Nice.
Yeah.
I used to keep up on that number when I was emailing app developers all the time because that was a good, that was a nice statistic to throw out there at them.
You've been doing this show since 2011, is that right?
Sounds right.
Yeah. So you've got a body of work there.
Quite. Yeah. See, the number I would throw at them is something to the effect of we have over, 300 hours equivalent to, 20 days worth of continuous content, that kind of stuff, just because it's hard for them to comprehend. Oh man, that sounds like a lot.
All right, so let me also read an email, and then we'll jump in from there. And this one is from Richard Querin, and he says that he thinks he has my phone, or the phone I want. Says, hi guys, I just wanted to comment on Mark's battery gripes with the Moto X Pure. It sounds funny, but I think I have the phone that Mark should have gotten, only probably couldn't. I have the Moto X Play Edition, which I think isn't available in the US for some reason. It's got a slightly smaller screen than the Pure, which is the Pure, what's it called in the UK? The Pure here. Anyway.
Play.
No,
It's a different thing. Anyway, so it's got a slightly smaller screen than the Pure by 0.2 inches diagonally, so it's 5.5 versus 5.7, but it's 1080p and not quad HD. It's still mega bright and plenty sharp and colorful for me. It's got 21% bigger battery, 30 milliamps, and yet weighs slightly less than the Pure. I think it's the same 21 megapixel camera as well. The only drawbacks are that the Play Edition has only one front-facing speaker, and it's got a Snapdragon 615, though it might be considered a mid-range processor. I can tell you over the few months since I've had it, I haven't experienced any stuttering or lag issues. It seems to be plenty good enough for me. The battery life is really good, especially coming from the Nexus 5. Though I rarely run it down, it gives me 4 or 5 hours of screen on time easy, and the only way I use it up in a day is if I'm doing GPS navigation while driving and forgot to plug it in. Otherwise, it easily lasts 15 or 16 hours a day for me, and I use my phone quite a lot throughout the day. Also, like him, I keep the brightness below 50% always, and in the evenings, it's usually down at 20. It's just that bright. The only other thing I wonder about is updates, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, cheers, guys, and keep up the great work there.
Okay. Moto X Pure Edition inside the US. Outside the US, it's called the Moto X Style.
That's it.
Okay, now the other one is called the Moto X Play. Never remember what the other one's called.
Oh,
Well,
they have an American version of the Play too.
Yeah, so they did the Play Edition in 2014. I don't think they did an American Play Edition in 2015.
Well, they will, and I believe it's been rebranded literally to the Droid Turbo 2. Complete name change. I think this is what we're getting. And the difference is the screen technology is different, where they're trying to make it unbreakable. I could be completely wrong with that, but I thought that's what was happening. Coming into the US, changing names, changing screen, everything else is identical.
In my opinion, Motorola is crushing it in the smartphone flagship market right now.
Well, they are,
Everybody
but
else is playing catch up.
They are, but they need to stop having different names.
Yeah.
If I have my Canadian friend or Can-Do-Adian friend who does support us on Patreon, I salute you, Richard. I want him to be able to tell me a phone name that I can use in my country and find, and not be like, oh, I don't see that phone anywhere, Richard.
The only reason for that has to be carriers.
Yes.
And it's got to be marketing. You know, we need to get carriers out of the cell phone market. Just and Google's trying to do that, Motorola's trying to do that, Huawei's trying to do that, but it's just not there yet. And by the way, we still only have 12 patrons on Patreon. Come on, people, that's ridiculous. The amount per month has gone up. Good on you there, but really 12.
Well, that's thanks to Richard Queern, who joined us last week for, I believe it was $10 an episode or $10 a month.
And I'm going to
Nice.
tell you, I'm going to speak for Door here, because I feel that I know his heart. The money that goes there goes straight into making this show better. It's not going to go to line his pockets and buy him toys. I know that's the way I run my show, and I'm pretty sure that's the way he runs his. So if you like the show and you want it to improve, and you want it to be better, you got no excuse. Go support the show.
Yeah. Okay. I'm showing we have 12 patrons. I think only 10 of them have formally contributed. I'll say that. The two newest ones, Richard Queern and Cannon St. Rose. You guys are awesome. Todd, I still can't believe you're a patron. You sure deserve something fantastic.
All right. Enough about that. Door, bring us another app, please, my friend.
Okay. The next app I'm going to bring for you, it's a stupid, easy softball. I guess it's the word softball app. I'm just, laying it over the plate for you. YouTube Music. I opted in for the free trial experience of YouTube Red, which is a horrible name for a service. I'm just saying, for many reasons. But I opted in for it, and I literally am now mentally hooked on the idea of tapping a video and seeing a video and not an ad. I'm also now
that.
right, and I'm also now hooked in the fact that I can say, like for instance, okay, Google, play music if you want to be happy for the rest of your life.
Epic fail.
Right.
Google's really
Now-
got to get that faster.
It's going over to the YouTube, but
You can't do
Typically-
it live.
typically it will automatically start to just play my song. And I love the fact that I can get any song in my head just about, it seems like, and I have it in my head and I can just say that and bam, I got the song playing right in front of me kind of thing. So with the YouTube Red thing, I'm also getting the Google Music thing. They're actually the same thing.
Right.
And I'm going to keep getting it because I'm going to tie. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically buy it, but I'm not going to buy it for me. I'm going to buy it for my kid to ensure that when he watches YouTube videos of any kind, he sees fewer ads. Because if you take a look at average YouTube length and average length of ad, if my kid watches an hour's worth of YouTube, he's going to see almost 4 times as many ads versus television. And I can't stand the amount of ads I see on television. So
Right.
to try to keep his brain as little warped as possible from advertising and marketing and just being warped from the lies I tell him, I'm getting it for him.
So let's talk about that from a parent point of view. In order to do that, you've either got to log in him to a family account or give him his own account, which according to the YouTube terms of service, he is too young to have.
Yeah.
Which of those lesser of two evils are you going to attack?
I would really prefer to give him his own account because it's like I tell people at work, say anything you want about me. I'm a man. I can take it. I've said it on my podcast kind of thing. Treat me nothing special. I'm a man. I can take it. I like to believe my son might be 10 years old, but I like to believe he's a little bit of a man. And I should be able to give him his own account and he manage it and he use it. And I don't have to keep my eye over his shoulder. I don't have to review his history. And he just watches what he wants to. But I'm not sure yet, Mark.
Yeah, that's something that I've dealt with. It's not you're not violating a law. You're violating an end user license agreement, all right, a user agreement, where you're clicking a button that says I agree. You're not clicking a button that says I will comply. You're clicking a button that says I agree. Yes, I agree with your terms, but I'm going to do it my way. So I don't have it's not a big legal issue or ethical thing, but it is that those things are there for a reason. And when I was in schools, we gave parents that option. We often used Twitter and Facebook in our middle school as part of the curriculum. And parents had that option to let their kids sign up at age, 10, 11, 12 or not. And we would have alternate curriculum if we needed it. But here as my parent, as a parent, I have chosen to toe the line on that age 13. I can't give you a good reason for it. That's just,
Right.
It feels right to me right now, mainly because I think like you, I don't want to do the burden of watching my kids, and because they're living in a world that is so different than the world we grew up in, right? When I was stupid, it was forgotten the next day. You're stupid with a selfie cam in your hand and it's on the internet forever. So I think the costs of being a kid are so much higher now. So maybe I'm just an overprotective parent, but I want to wait till the judgment centers of the brain are a little more developed before I give my children free reign on the internet, and even in a protected environment like YouTube.
Can you use YouTube Music without the Red Pass? Can you just watch it with ads on every song?
I think, thank thought, yes.
Okay. My daughter asked me the other day. She's like, "Well, why? How do people even sell music now?" She has no concept of buying a CD
Well,
or an album or
Google
anything.
fought that for so long. They didn't want to be the music service of the internet, and they tried to get music off, right? And they didn't want it. Now they're embracing it. This app lets you play the music without streaming the video, which is every IT manager's dream. Because kids, certainly in schools and people at work, are streaming stuff and ignoring the video, which is 80% of the bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
Like Google does. They fight, then they embrace.
Is the bit rate going to be much less? Like it kind of might be on a video, compared to say like songs or I wouldn't say Pandora. I think has a horrible bit rate, but like Slacker seems to have a little better, and songs that has a little better. That's how these are.
The difference is that I know of, YouTube and this app will automatically do a sensing of network speed as it starts to play, and automatically on the fly adjust what the quality is. So the better your connection, the better the audio quality. I would expect and suspect if you're at home Wi-Fi with a good connection, you will get superior audio quality to virtually any free radio service.
And then I wonder, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Okay.
So they have Google Music where everybody uploaded all their music for their ages up to, so you could stream it later wherever you were at and didn't have to save it on your phone.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So I wonder if they would take the music from Google Music, fill it in the spots to fill in the blanks for like maybe a not so great uploaded song video for the person who is just listening. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't.
That's what Apple said they were going to do with their cloud music offering, was that if you upload a crappy version of it, they'll upgrade it for free to the good version. I don't know that Google or Amazon have ever made that promise.
Well, they haven't made the promise, I know, but they have done it. I know for a fact they've done it to a percentage of my songs, because my songs, just like I have horrible eyesight, 2200 plus 2080, more than 2080. My hearing is also bad. So I literally took every piece of my music, which was 29 days worth of music back in the day, literally 29 days worth of music, and I converted it all to 93 kilobit or 96 kilobit audio, which is horrid. Okay. It's bad. And I did that. And months later, I saw a couple of my, album arts change. And then when I went into my Google Music and said download the song, it was at a much higher quality. But here's the other thing, Eric. If my son comes to me and says, how do people make money, or has a singer or an artist make money from music, they get that all, and this has not changed. Artists get money from doing live shows,
touring and merch.
Right. Record companies got money from selling albums and vinyl and cassettes and 8-tracks. But the artist only ever makes any amount of actual substantial money from live shows.
Yeah, she wasn't asking how.
Always been the case, but certainly for the last decade it has been.
Well, no, for the last at least 50 years, 40 plus years.
She wasn't asking how they make money. She was just asking why anyone would buy music. Just actually a physical purchase of a music.
I still do.
Whether it be a song or a complete CD, LP, or whatever.
I actually buy CDs.
Yeah. The only reason I buy anything anymore is purposely to support. Most of the stuff I buy, I literally buy, and if I can get it on my computer some other way, it just goes in a drawer. And I'm happy knowing I got that movie sitting on my shelf, literally unopened, because I don't need to open it, because I got Netflix, I got this, I got that, I can watch it anytime I want.
Okay.
So the reason
go ahead.
The reason I do that for my movies and my music, I buy the physical media, I immediately rip them and then use them as my online media. But I do that because CDs they are not DRM protected. So even if I buy like something from the Play Store, I will then burn it to a CD and then rip that unprotected thing back to an MP3 because I want to be able to play my stuff anywhere on any device, whether or not I have a connection to the internet. My movies are the same way. When I go on a trip, I will carry a drive with movies on it or load them onto my phone because I can't always rely on bandwidth. It's getting better, but I can't always rely on it. So I still buy the physical just so I can rip out the DRM crap. And I don't want a world door like you're saying where everything is service based, where it's either on Google Play or it's on Netflix or it's on Amazon. I understand the convenience to that, but that it's a Faustian deal that you're making with the devil when you do that.
And I'm fine with that. Because it means I don't have to be as responsible. Do you see a trend here, Mark? I'm just wondering. But what I do literally is I put stuff on my Plex server. Like I'm literally getting ready to buy PCU. Horrible, like bad comedy, but it was funny to me because I'm immature. Because my sister-in-law never saw it because we were someplace and somebody said, well, why don't we just sit around and just start singing Kumbaya? And the one older lady started singing that. And my wife looked at me and just said, don't you dare. Because there's a line in PCU where they're singing some protest song that I can't say on this show. And then somebody started singing Kumbaya and like the angry protesters started singing Kumbaya and then everything just started going their way because it's a cheesy comedy. But I can't find this thing anywhere to stream. It's not on Netflix. It's not on Amazon to stream. It's not on Google Play. I didn't say I said it wasn't a good movie, but it was good enough for me to tell someone, look, this is so stupid. You need to watch it.
I've never seen it. I'll have to look for that one. Well, you already said you looked. It's not there.
Right. I'll just quote one line for you, Eric.
Okay.
Can you blow me where the Pampers is? That line alone summarizes the entire movie.
And on that note, Eric, bring us another app, please, quickly.
Hey, a benefit for all this Amazon purchasing we've been doing on the cheap Mark Cockrell is the $1 they give you for credit if you let it ship in 3 days instead of 2.
Yes.
Are you taking them up on that little extra spiff?
I don't, because I don't want the Google Play. I don't want all my stuff in the Amazon market. So I've never actually taken them up on that.
Oh, well, I don't want it all up there, but if I want to rent a newer movie that maybe like in the Red Box and they have it there.
But you can't get the disc. That's the thing. Yeah.
Just to watch. There's only like 4 movies I'd watch more than once anyway, and I usually don't make it through the once. I usually fall asleep. I'm not a movie person, but
which is another reason why you shouldn't do it, because it expires after an amount of time.
That's fine. The price is right. So my app is called Curvatron. It's based on curves. Mark, this is one of your waiting for your daughter's apps. Basically, somebody brought Snake a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. This is the new version of Snake, kind of. The idea of not running into your own tail and it grows is the same as Snake. But basically, in this, you have to run. You're not just right angles. Your snake moves in circles or squares, and you tap to change direction on which way it's going to go. There's a couple different game modes. Well, there's the circle and the square mode, and then a mode where you have to eat little, niblets. And
that is mind-numbingly difficult.
Fill up the whole screen. It is. It is hard. It is hard to do, but it's fun. It's different. I thought it was a nice take on the original game. A nice change.
Okay. Any video with Snoop Dogg in it.
What's up with that?
It immediately gets higher marks in my book because it takes, you can't just put Snoop Dogg. There has to be something else. They even have Hypnotoad in the video.
Honestly, I've never watched the video, so I'm watching that for the first time right now.
This is what other app developers need to look at this video, because there's no doubt in my mind a certain percentage of the people installed this app installed it only because of the video. I'm not saying it's a great video, but it's better than most of the videos out there. I'll say that. It's interesting, but I there's no way I can install this one.
It's tough. It's a
Yeah.
tough game. On the part where you can't run into yourself and you got to eat the little niblets. I think I made it to 3 niblets, maybe 4.
Oh,
But
I can't decide whether I think this is cool or a nightmare, and maybe both. Maybe
Yeah.
the coolest nightmare I've had in a while.
That's a good way to put it. It doesn't take much to install it, try it. Yeah, I guess if you don't want to be rage quitting in the middle of a line, don't install it.
Right.
You don't want to sometimes you just don't need that, you don't need the aggravation.
And see, they purposefully designed their preview video to make sure at exactly the halfway point is where Snoop Dogg appears, to ensure the default thumbnail every place the video is shown. These people paid attention. That's all I'm saying.
Is that Snoop Dogg? Is it?
I think it is.
I gotta
Let's say it is.
I gotta look now.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to bring an app, and this has turned into an inadvertent game show.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yep.
This app, I can't take credit for. Steve Gibson on Security Now mentioned it. And I have, over the years of listening to that podcast, Steve and I have similar tastes about a lot of things, movies notwithstanding. Many of the times he loves a movie that I hate, but I decided I would check this out. It's called Auralux. And it's a basic command and conquer game. You build resources and then you go attack, but it is presented in such a unique and interesting way that I was hooked on it pretty much immediately. I downloaded it yesterday, and last night I played through all the levels that you get for free, and then bought paid levels, and have almost played through those. At some point, I'm gonna 99 cents for 5 levels. So you stock up, $6-8, you'll have everything, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do. But the idea, you're in a star field, and your stars pump out little bits of energy, and those bits of energy either defend as other bits of energy are launched at you, or attack as you launch the bits of energy at other things. And so it's a mining resources and deploying resources kind of game. The music is cool. The gameplay is simple and intuitive. It's a few snaps, a few taps here and there. Things take a while to happen, so you can make an action and then walk away, and you don't have to be really invested in it. That's both a good and bad thing. A level can take 35-40 minutes to play, but it's of that 40 minutes, 15 of it is unattended time.
This is an old game, Mark.
Yeah.
I remember playing this on my Transformer, I think.
Yeah. A great name, Auralux, but when I hear Lux, I think screen dimming flux stuff. War Drum Studios, fantastic name. I think of this almost like Risk type of mechanics, but also kind of like Dice War mechanics. I'll say that. Yeah, we brought this back on 196.
Yeah, if you don't use headphones on this game, though, Dor, you're missing out a lot, if I remember correctly.
No, then I can't play it then.
Well, you don't have to. I listen to it muted, but for once you want to get the experience of not muting it too.
Yeah.
This to me is one of those games, because this to me is a nuance game. The stage the presentation is simple, and by simple I just mean it's not crazy, but the interactions with the particles is gorgeous. I love how it's displayed, but it's nuanced in the sense of you can play a level 100 different times, and dependent on how fast it takes you to do one thing has a cascading effect through the rest of the level for you. So you could literally play a level 100 times and have 100 different outcomes, technically, even though you could fail 99 and make it just one.
Right. And every time, there is a strategy that works on each level, but it's not always an obvious strategy. Sometimes you have to really think differently than all the other. Like, you've played 6 levels and you've developed a way you do things, and on level 7 that does not work at all. And I like that about that game.
Yeah. How far have you made it then?
I've done all 10 of the original levels and 5 more bonus levels.
Dude,
That I-
Mark,
that I
you
bought.
are a gamer. You're good at these things, man. Attaboy.
Well, I come home, I sit down on the couch, and I don't interact with my family, and I play casual games.
So you're normal.
Yeah.
And plus, I have 2 hours in traffic every day, and you shouldn't play games while driving. I don't play games while driving.
Because you're not driving, you're
While
sitting.
sitting. Yeah.
Thus, you remove the airbag and install the tablet in the middle of your steering wheel.
All right. So
This to me is just one of those simple, fun kind of games.
it's great. And yes, it is old, 81,000 plus downloads already, but it was new to me. And you guys are getting new audience on this show all the time. So somebody wasn't around for episode 191.
Right. A lot of people weren't around from back then. But no, that's cool. We always have failed to find a good way to bring the good ones back to the front. So that's awesome.
Let's one more time, Dor. Let's start with you. Round 3, I think it is.
Okay, give me just 1 second. I'm going to talk while I tab through a couple just to get one more glimpse through stuff. I'm going to bring this, even though it comes with a caveat. It's all a lie, people. It's all a lie. Okay. This is called Orfox, Tor browser for Android. People think if I use Tor, I'm 100% protected and no one knows who I am or where I'm at or where I'm coming from or anything. Okay. For the most part, that is a complete lie for a couple reasons. One, there's a ton, an absolute metric ton of metadata that still comes through any Tor connection. And the metadata is what browser you're on, what version of browser you're on, what plugins you have installed, what is your screen resolution, what fonts do you have installed, so on and so on and so on and so on. So there's a huge bunch of information that goes right through Tor purposely. Number 2, Tor was created by the federal government. It's created by the Department of Navy. Don't believe me. Like I say on all my shows, don't believe me. Go look for yourself. It was created by the Department of Navy. There was a time last year for, I think it was 6 months, maybe 8 months, where they basically had all of Tor de-anonymized secretly because they wanted to track stuff. Anyone who believes I'm safe because I'm using Tor is a sucker, is what I'm going to say, just flat out sucker. Now, if you use Tor for what it's good at, you can have a benefit from using it. But if you use it, don't use it because you believe it makes you 100% impenetrable, bulletproof, safe, anonymous, or any of that. Use it for just what it gives you, which is a very little bit of anonymity, and that's it.
Yeah, like most things, it's not foolproof. It just makes it more difficult. Tor originally stood for the onion router, and the idea is there's multiple layers of traffic, but every onion can be peeled, or if you're the U.S. government, you cut it in half. It is protection from the casual snooper, but not from the determined hacker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say there is a section of the government and there's a section of the tech people out there that believe if you use Tor, you're literally putting up a neon sign on your internet connection saying, hey, I'm going to be doing something interesting. You might want to watch the rest of my traffic. So you could be just doing nothing but drawing attention to yourself.
True. That's why it's IE for me.
IE. All right. I don't even know how to respond to that.
Insert whatever number you need to afterwards.
3.0.
Well, 6 was really the best. I try to stick with IE6 whenever possible. Sadly,
I like
by the way,
viruses without even doing anything.
yes, I want my computer to just proactively infect itself.
Yeah. Now, did you hear that one thing? Mark, on security now, there's a camera, a mobile body camera sold as a police camera to police agencies that comes shipped with Configure virus already on it.
Yeah, pre-installed.
So as soon as you plug that into your police computer to upload any of the video. Oh, that's wonderful. I love the quality of products. It's great. You know, I'm glad I'm not getting any suspicious quality products delivered to my home at any time, every day.
Yeah, and you plug them into your computers because the instructions say to. Step one.
How else am I going to charge this USB device that it has to be plugged into a USB?
I'm laughing because I did it just today. Yeah. Plugged in a set of headphones to the USB just to charge. Who knows what's on that thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
that's awesome.
So I maybe I was zoning, but did you actually say the name of the app, Door?
I thought I did. It is
Tor browser for Android.
It's Orfox. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, seriously, people, never believe a single thing I ever say. I beg you. I beg, and I go into meetings and I say this too, Mark. And as soon as I say it, everyone thinks I'm lying to them. They also think I'm lying to them when I say, no, we're all adults here. We don't treat people like they all think, oh man, I'm getting set up. Oh man. No, don't believe a word I say. Do your own research. And anybody that tells you unequivocally, I know every fact about something, they're the people you don't trust. I'm just saying. But go check it out yourself. Tor has a use, has a function, but it's not what it's not what the people screaming with their hands above their head tell you it's for.
The Apostle Paul 2,000 years ago told his young friend Timothy to test everything and keep that which is good. It was good advice then. It's still good advice today.
What is your good? What is the recommended usage that you would think would be appropriate for the Tor Onion router?
Realistically, if you want to try to for free watch BBC or something else,
performance is going to be so terrible, though.
Well, you can't use it for anything critical. You can't use it for anything hypersensitive. You can't use it for anything hyperpersonal.
Would you rather use regular Firefox than this Orfox for your normal day to day?
I would sooner use an out of country VPN service before I use Tor for anything.
But one of the answers, Door, to what you were saying, where you said if it's a signal using the Onion router, if more and more people use the Onion router for everyday mundane traffic, you know, the sensitive stuff gets lost in the mix. This is since the early 90s, this message has been going around in the open source community. PGP encrypt every email, even if it's just to the wife about the grocery list, because the more stuff is encrypted, the less the sensitive stuff sticks out. So if encryption is a signal, let's flood the signals.
I agree. And every website should be HTTPS. Period, because it's a good thing. It's better for everybody's security. If PGP was just a little bit easier,
and that sentence has been said 1,000 times about every encryption. If only it were a little easier, and it's just not, because security is inherently difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I've said thousands of times in my career, security and network don't go together. They are two different, distinct terms. There's no such thing as network security. You're either networked or you're secure.
Right.
And everything else is a kludge, and it's a difficulty between, it's a sliding scale between network on the left and secure on the right, and you choose where you're comfortable being on that scale.
Yeah. And in a meeting with our security people, I had to explain to them, and this is an old Gibson quote. Security and convenience are on opposite ends of a unbendable pole, and the two shall never meet. Because they tried to explain how something was convenient, and I had to say to them, then it's inherently insecure. There is no such thing. And the only thing to me that comes close to bridging that gap via a wormhole is the YubiKey. That's the only thing that to me even comes close to convenient and secure.
And the YubiKey was the PayPal puck with the numbers on it.
No, it's a
One-time password generator.
No, it is a international human interface device. So it works on any computer with any language on it whatsoever. Doesn't matter the operating system. You plug it up, regardless of security permissions, even if you have the lowest user privileges of any user, you plug it into any computer, you hit a button, and it will either spit out a one-time password or it can spit out a predefined password over and over again.
Yeah, two-factor authentication.
It's good. And, and if I was the head of security for my enterprise, every single employee would have a YubiKey as one part of their log.
I hate to say it, and there's probably something horrible with this statement. Well, there's a couple things horrible with the statement.
The Beatles are not bigger than religion.
Oh, the Microsoft two-factor authentication that they do for their products when you make purchases via your Android device, I think that works out really well, and it seems pretty secure to me because I cannot purchase that thing until I find my phone and tap OK. Yes, I did just buy this. And if it takes more than a minute, I have to do it again. But it comes right up. It's not like it works. I don't know. There's something to it. It feels right.
I'm not sure I even know what you're talking about. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. I don't know if I brought it to the show.
Version of Google Authenticator, basically.
That's what I'm going, and I'm willing to bet its source code is Google Authenticator because that was free and open source.
The app is just simply Microsoft account,
right?
And it and anytime I buy anything on the Xbox, it'll say waiting for your phone. And then I find my phone and a thing pops up. It says, hey, you're trying to buy this. Did you mean to? Yes. And then as soon as that I hit the very little second I hit that, my Xbox goes ahead and purchases what I try to buy. Works really, really slick.
Yeah. I have no problem saying this is built off the backbone of Google Authenticator, period. Because they did it, they opened it up, and no doubt it just works.
What was it? Auth key? I can't remember the name of it, but it's the pipes, the plumbing pipes behind it.
I can't remember.
All right. Anyway, let me read
everything Microsoft. I guess I would use it, but I would literally rather lose a pinky toe than give them money.
Corey McCrary has a question about how to work safely with Android. Hey guys, first let me say keep up the awesome work with the show. I was curious if you guys can recommend an app or a fix. I work as a merchandiser for PepsiCo, and I choose to use my own phone and get a stipend instead of carrying around one of their ancient flip phones. I was wondering, is there any way I can separate work stuff from personal stuff on my device? From what I understand, Android for Work does this, but Pepsi isn't enrolled. And my first thought was just use profiles in anything Lollipop or a grater.
Yeah, profiles is a nice, very nice feature in Android.
I've never used a profile, so I really don't have a good answer for them. I've never made more than one profile on an Android device.
Well, the way it works is very simply, if you have a Lollipop device, up at the top corner, there's a little icon. It's either a picture of you or the little target drone picture. And you click on that and you can have as many logins as you want. And so when you log into that, it sandboxes your stuff. It's not as secure as like a reboot, but it suspends all the stuff for that user. You log in as another user and then interact with the phone as that user's Gmail account, that user's all his other stuff. And you can't be logged into both simultaneously. And each time you leave one to go to the other, you have to re-authenticate, or you can set it up that way anyway. So like I have, you put your kids thing on your phone and then you can be them. And that's a good parent monitoring tool. But it's also good for you set one up as a guest mode. And if you want to hand somebody your phone, they can't, see all your porn links in your Gmail or whatever. But I think it would work well enough for what Corey wants to do because it near the twain shall meet. So you have one phone, one number, but two different accounts. It will be difficult for moving back and forth between the two, though.
How about like would one profile be able to see the phone calls made on another profile, or is it totally separate throughout the entire phone?
I haven't checked that. I think they are separate, but I'm not sure.
That's great. That'd be cool.
I think the call log history is separate, but I think the text messaging is the same.
Well, it depends on the app entirely there. If it's an authenticated app, like if you're using Hangouts, then that's not going to be the case. But if you're using text messages, the basic Android app, then it may be.
Right. And I'll say it is exactly like walking up to a non-multi-user computer, like AKA Windows XP. It's exactly like walking up to it, hitting start, log off, and log on as somebody else. Because you have the same IP address, AKA the same phone number, and you're on the same device. You just have different settings, kind of thing. And that is by far the best way to quote unquote separate work from life. The only problem becomes, hypothetically, you decide I'm going to do this, and then you decide, I use Voxer on my other account, but I also need to use Voxer to communicate with my wife, so I had to have it installed. You literally have to have two apps updating, and the data, when you log out of one profile, log into the other Voxer app has to catch up, so it's going to re-download everything again. So there is a price to pay from doing it, but it is the only way to get true separation without vendor support, if you will. I asked them also to contact Pepsi and see what they support, because some of them support what's called MDM. Some of them support Good, which are basically apps that try to be the equivalent to Google for Work, which is a app when you load the app, you have to put in your password or PIN number, and then what opens up is basically a suite of applications. It can have your contacts for work, your email for work, your calendar for work, your notes for work, your tasks for work, all inside one app. And then at least that has some separation of data, if you will. So if your phone gets stolen and you don't have a lock screen, hypothetically, this app has another password on it, so it's another level of protection. So that's the other way you can go with it. The other way is go completely rogue, which is literally just to try to figure out what your company's public-facing mail server is and add to the front of it AS dot and that mail server, and try to log in with a whole bunch of different apps. And what you might find out is that your corporation has ActiveSync turned on, which will allow virtually any application, including Gmail, to be able to connect to your corporate mail and work just fine and sync all your contacts and everything. But I have no experience with that.
Doesn't sound like it. I think I heard Jay-Z sing about that MDM stuff or something one time. I don't know, that app you're talking about.
If you say so. Didn't he? I mean, the last time I paid attention to him was back in disco, where he wore glittery suits and eye makeup.
Yeah, it's probably Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like him.
Well, it is him.
There's also a good chance that your company has, if all you're looking at is email, okay, it really depends on what you want, right? But my company uses Outlook web appliance, Outlook web app. It's the web-facing form of Outlook, and so it's got my calendar and my contacts and my email there, and you can go to any web browser and do that. But I use an app called OWA something. OWM. See, I use it every day, but I don't know the name of it. OWM email, Outlook webmail email. And all it does is reach out and log into your company's web browser, but it formats it in such a way that it looks good on your phone. And it also periodically logs in to check calendar events and notifies you of your new email. So that one app, it's like $6, I think, serves all of my purposes at my work and follows all the rules. I'm just logging into the company provided web-facing service. So you might check that out.
And the email app built into your phone wouldn't connect to that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't allow direct IMAP or whatever connections, but this is a web page. So the only way you can get to it is go to HTTPS : and do that.
Yeah,
on
I always
Microsoft.com.
no, on their site. I always forget about Outlook Web Access. I will say when it works, it's actually not bad. Yes, I said that about a Microsoft product. It's not bad.
Oh, that's a trend for you, Dor. You're a slow convert or
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, fanboy or something recently.
I'm just a big softy.
Yeah. It's $4.99. So I'll put the link in the chat and Dor can include it in the notes.
Nice.
For me, it was exactly what I needed. May not be for you, but for me, it solved that problem right there. And you know, depending on the options you have, there's also ways to sync a Google Calendar with an Outlook calendar when you install a an app or two on your machine. Your corporate IT policies may or may not allow that, but that's possible too. So you can have the two things interacting with Gmail and Google Calendar, but just different logins of it.
I'm spoiled with my Exchange server, I think. I don't have any.
All right, Eric, do you have another app for us, or is your tank empty?
No, I got a couple. I'm just going to bring this one though. This one, I don't understand the backstory to it because this game is called Sigils of Elohim, Sigils, Sigils of Elohim, Elohim. This is the prequel game to a much larger puzzle game that's coming at some point called the Talos Principle. Well, I'm not going to get into that because there's a whole bunch about that. But basically, this is just a quick puzzle game where you have to take basically Tetris shapes and lay them into a shape the correct way, and you rotate them and just set them in there. There's been probably 10,000 other games that do the same thing, kind of. But this one promises a little bit to have more behind it and more to it. And if you do all these puzzles, it may help your chances of doing good in the bigger game that's coming later.
So Sigil is a medieval ceremonial magic. Thank you, Wikipedia. And Elohim is a Hebrew name for God.
What, you mean you had to look that up, Mark?
Well, I think
Sigil I did. Elohim I didn't.
I think
it's the magic of God.
Sigil has something to do with these types of games or puzzles, I think, too, though, somehow.
Well, you're essentially assembling magic talismans, which is a sigil, right?
Looks like magic to me.
Yeah, it looks like shapes to me. And I don't want to read too much. I don't want it to be like some kind of dark cult that I just joined.
Well, Elohim is a Hebrew word that I know from my comparative religious studies in college, that is commonly used to represent the Hebrew God. I had to Google what Sigils was, but
well, the creators of this also created Serious Sam. I don't know if there's any religious parts to Serious Sam or not, but that's maybe, I don't know. I think that gives them some cred as far as game creation.
I don't think these guys create anything. I think they're a marketing firm that publishes other people's things for them. I'll say that. It's a good looking game. Yeah. It looks like it plays good. Okay. It looks like it has a lot of levels. That's great. I will say I have seen this exact game for years on all different kinds of platforms. So once you look at a screenshot, you'll understand the Tetris pieces fitting into a constrained space, and they only fit like one way, kind of thing. There's a word for that. I cannot remember what it's called.
It's called Tetris.
No.
Tetris.
You have to watch the history of Tetris. The original Tetris shapes were taken from this subset of shapes. I can't remember what they're called, and the shapes were used to make perfect puzzle pieces, kind of thing. And that's what this is. So if you're a fan of that kind of puzzle, this puzzle gets complicated really quick. Okay, 3 in, trust me, you're going to need to sit down and try more than a couple times to get it right. If you're a fan of that, you're going to be, in there. It's good. But just finding it because of the spelling, near impossible. Go ahead, listener, try to find it without linking to the App Store, and good luck because you're not going to find it.
I have to say, if there's any game I'm kind of good at, it is these ones. And you don't get the stress of a Tetris with the quickly falling pieces. You can do this at your own pace.
It's just basic spatial matching.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe Tetris did cause more than a couple heart attacks back in the day because it was, to me, the original stress pounder. I mean, Space Invaders with it coming down farther and farther and faster back and forth. Yeah, that was some stress. And the music and the sound effects didn't help. But Tetris, there's no doubt because you knew as soon as I get this next line, it's going to speed up. Oh man, and boom, and and it just hurt. It just hurt.
Oh, but when that flat one comes up and you get to lay that in just right and knock out like 4 rows, oh, that's a good feeling there, man.
The father of a friend of mine, college classmate, got a Nintendo back when the Nintendo was the thing in 90, right, 89, somewhere around there, and got Tetris and became obsessed with it. And he's a retired doctor now, but he would come home at the end of his day of surgery and sit down and play through Tetris, play through it, beginning to end, every day for like 23 years. Every day he played through Tetris on the Nintendo.
Wow.
Oh, I mean, that was one of the things about Tetris was there was no real end. You would play until it got so fast, well, at least in the one mode, to where you just couldn't possibly keep up.
Well, there was like when the castle takes off like a rocket is what he considered, because at some point it loops over on itself or something. There, at least in the game he played, if you play it enough, there is actually an end to the game.
I clearly never saw that.
Me either.
All right, I think that's going to wrap it up. That's a good bit of apps and a good bit of email and some even Hebrew lessons. Where else are you on the internet are you going to get that kind of variety? We're the Walmart Supercenter of podcasts. You can get a Danish and a quart of oil at 2:00 in the morning.
I always thought Walmart Supercenters were going to be such a great thing. So if you ripped your pants at 2 a.m. trying to run from the cops or something, you can just go and just buy a new pair.
They got you covered.
Never had to do that, luckily.
That's a good thing. That's not necessarily a life aspiration. All right. Any words of wisdom, final comments, anything you want to plug or advertise, Dor, before we say goodnight?
Wisdom, no. You clearly don't know me, Mark. I don't have any wisdom except after exclaiming multiple times how I really avoid responsibility, Mark piled on by bringing his own apps to make me document even more. So thank you, Mark. I love you.
Yes, 2 links. I changed your life with 2 links.
2 links in that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18 different copy and paste that have to happen. I'm just saying, because I have proper name, link, who brought it, the price, the image link, and your satisfaction or dissatisfaction of it.
Hey, at least this time I told you, I provided the link. Usually I just say, there's this app. Yes. It's called something like the blue thing. Yeah. So I helped you out a little this time.
And he's coming along.
And he is. And when I want to offer to the newer listener, because you keep hearing this name, Steve C, I want to offer you just a flash of insight. Mark is exactly like Steve C in the sense of when Mark broke his watch, something inside of him literally jerked to the side, and he was like almost like a gasp for air. I trust me, I know. And Steve C was the same way, where if he even saw like somebody drop a laptop off a table, he would literally like inside, like, oh, like he would feel crushed for a couple seconds because he did not want to see technology hurt for no reason kind of thing. So that is who, except Mark is like 2 feet taller. That's one of the big differences.
And 1.5 feet wider.
I didn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Eric, how about yourself? What are your final words of wisdom for the night?
I would say, hey, anybody who drives by and sees the big snow turd sitting in my front yard, just give a honk to know that you saw those, because my snowblower got clogged, and just because last year when I got the snowblower, I wasn't totally sure how to operate it, and I probably forgot again. It goes on the front of this tractor, and it came as a set, and it would just the snow was so wet, instead of it blowing it out, it would just bloop bloop bloop, and like every 10 feet there was just this big large, like 2 foot long snow turd.
See, I would have to get a can of brown spirit paint and go all the way.
Well, honestly, actually, they looked more like toilet paper rolls because they were white already. They looked like toilet paper rolls laying out in the yard. But yeah, we're probably going to have a repeat of that very soon, like starting tomorrow night. So that'll be fun.
I think it's supposed to be 75 here in Atlanta tomorrow. So if you want to,
Yeah. So
Come on.
I
Eric,
would love to take that drive. Yes.
well, Eric, I want to end my talking off with a question. Is there ever a point in your life where you see yourself picking up and moving someplace with slightly better weather?
That would be up to my wife. I would be in a minute. I would be in the apartment right below Steve C in Florida. I'm fine with humidity. I'm fine. The only time I'd ever been to Florida was in August. I went to Daytona Beach, and it was perfect weather for me. It's fine with me. When it's 110 in the car, you roll your windows down, let the air out for a little bit before you start it. I know, that's fine. I can do that. This stuff, I don't have I feel closer to death when it gets cold. Yes, I don't like it.
okay. When you invoke closeness to death, I think there's nothing more to do but say goodnight. Thanks for hanging out with us one more time. You, the awesome listener, you are literally the reason we do this. It would be awfully silly for us to get behind video cameras and turn on microphones and do all this if nobody was watching or listening. Thank you for that. But I implore you, I guilt you, I shame you into going to patreon.com/Android App Addicts and signing up for a penny. Fine. It does. The money is less important than the support. We need to see a show of support there that shows that more than 12 people listen to the show and care about the show. Lots of people listen to it. A subset of those care about it. If you're one of those who care about it, go to LMNOP or sorry, my network. Go to patreon.com/Android App Addicts and sign up. I do it so often. All right, that's it. I'm going to say that covers it. We'll see you next week on Android App Addicts.
Hey, Door.
Yes.
Stop your audacity.
Oh, yes.